Hi everyone. In today's video, we will see how to work on text files. So before working on text files, there are two important steps when you look at a text file. Opening and closing of files are very important in a Python program when you're using files. So what do I say by opening a file? Opening a file is nothing but it's a record which is containing data. So when you're opening a file or when you're creating a file, the file has to have something called as a file object. So the file object will henceforth keep track about the file name and the mode in which the file is going to be opened. For example, if I'm going to create a new file, the file object here is called as F. So my F object is going to hold two important data, that is my file name and on what mode I am going to work on in the program. For example, if I'm going to write into the file or whether I'm going to read into the file, whether I'm going to append into the file. So those are the different modes in which a file is going to be opened. So the file object over here is F followed by the open method. So open method provides us with the file name or the path in which the file is stored and what kind of operation currently is happening on the file. So whether it's a reading or writing. So the same way when you're closing a file, this is for opening a file. When you're closing a file, you just have to say the file object name dot close. So that is how you close the file. Over here I've given some examples. I'm going to call stu as my file object. The open method gives two important data. The students.txt is the file name and the mode is missing. Now mode is going to be optional. If the mode is missing, by default the file will be opened in the read mode. I will repeat again. The open method, you can only provide the file name. You can miss out on the mode. So if you miss out on the mode, by default the open method treats the mode as read mode. Or if you want to specify it, you can specify it specifically with R as the read mode. If you're writing into the file, then you have to specify W into the read mode. So this is important. So three things you need to know. You have to use the file object, the open method, and in the open method you have the file name followed by the mode in it. There are other modes with respect to opening or operating with text files or with binary files. So if you operate with text files, these are your modes which you have to use. When you're operating with binary files, you're going to use these set of modes for your binary files. So R is only for reading. That means the file is already created. You're just going to read the content, open the file and read the content. W means you're going to only write into the file. And please note, when you're using W, you should make sure that the file is going to be created and you are writing into the file. AB will only append towards the end of the file and you have to make sure the file is existing. If it is not existing, a new file is going to be created and the data is going to be added into it. Now R plus, W plus, RB plus, WB plus or R plus B, all these are going to do dual work, which is read and write. So R plus first preference is reading and then writing. W plus means reading first and then writing first and then reading. You can either use it for reading or writing over here. Now A plus again is going to write it at the end of the file. If the data is existing, if the data is not there, it's going to start from the beginning. Plus it is used for reading the file. So these are your different file operations which takes place. Now R mode will read the file from the beginning. So we call something as offset. Offset is like a pointer where the R or the file object is going to start from. The file object will start from a certain point in the text file. So if I'm using the R mode, it starts from the beginning of the file. So RB also is from the beginning, W is from the beginning, and if you look at the others, all are from the beginning except for the A mode. A mode or A plus mode will have the file pointer or the file object pointing at the end because it has to add at the end. So that is one thing you have to keep in mind. So this is the closing of the file. You have to use the close function for closing the file before you end any operations. Now writing into the file. So let us look at this particular code step by step. When you write into the file, that means you're creating a new file called as write.txt and the mode is going to be W. That's the first step. Then for writing into the files, there are two different methods where you can use. These are going to be supporting the text files only. So write is going to accept string parameters into this write method. So how do you write it is you have to use the file object, that is file dot and the write method and pass the string. For example, here the string value is this is read or write example. So this is the string I'm passing into the write method. So once you finish writing into the file, the third step is use the file object and close it. So similarly, you're going to use write lines. So write lines also has the similar syntax, that is your file handle or the object dot write and the argument which goes into the function is going to be strings in a list format. So strings in a list format is going to be the parameter inside the write lines.